that down, guys. Let's move on to this. Last night, Alien Romulus came out. Went to go see it.
Three of us saw it.
I was going to say, I absolutely didn't.
Yeah, and I don't think Chris is planning on seeing it. Nor would I recommend you see it. Eye violence.
Oh, no.
Was there?
Yeah, there was that. Well, we'll talk about Oscar.
Yeah, that's true.
So, as has been well documented, I thought this was a dumb idea for a movie. I didn't even think they should make it. I thought Alien was a dead franchise. Then they showed us the presentation at CinemaCon, and I was like, wait a minute, this looks pretty damn good. The trailers have come out, they look great. The first reactions were very solid. So off we went yesterday to go see it. And we won't go into any spoilers here, except to tell you there are aliens.
Oh, and then it ends like this. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And there are face huggers. And I will let you know that some people die.
What?
Yep. Yeah, it spoiled the whole damn thing.
I mean,
But-
that's in the trailer.
But this is a hell of a movie. This is a hell of a movie. You know, my wife, Ann, hasn't seen any of the Aliens films. So knowing this movie was coming out, she sat down to watch the original Alien films recently, and she really liked them. And, you know, what do I always say about what films are? Films are experiential events, right? We go to have an experience. This movie, I lost count almost about how often our audience,
Gets worse than that.
how often, oh yeah, there we go. There we go.
Why would you? Why? What a bad day to have eyes.
What's that? You have an itchy throat? Let me scratch that for you. But I mean, I lost count of how many times our audience, by the way, our theater was packed. How many times our audience audibly, you could hear in the auditorium going, or, ah, or like all that kind of stuff. By the way, the Batman in the live chat put in a $50
thank you.
just super chat
Damn.
badge just to be supportive. Thank you, Batman. Appreciate that, man. At any rate.
Oh yeah, there's definitely jump scares in there that I'm just
Oh.
like, God.
But you know what? It's not just the jump
Yeah.
scares. They went back and really married the original Alien with Aliens.
Yep.
And what Fede Alvarez, he's got like a North Korean director's mindset that he knows how to craft atmosphere. And the atmosphere in this movie will kill you. It's not just the things jumping out. It's the things slowly emerging from the shadows. There's something that happens in the third act of the film, and I'm not going to say what it was, but you got a character in the foreground, and very slowly something from the background starts to emerge out of the mist. And the whole audience in my theater was like, ah! Like it was just, so it's the jump scares. Yes, they're great. But it's also the atmosphere, the tone, the practical effects were used brilliantly. When they had to switch to CGI, it looked flawless. The performances were fantastic, particularly Kaylee Spaney in the lead. And I forget the name of the actor who played Andy.
Dude,
Johnson, something John.
Can you look that up for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, him who played.
The actor
He
who
was
played, yeah.
fantastic.
Wow. He
David
killed that
Johnson.
role.
So
David Johnson.
it fits in beautifully with all the Alien lore. It plays a little bit like the best of hits a bit, but they used it well. They used all the best of things from other films really well and made it fit into the movie. I like the overall, I like the characters. I loved the tension. For me, you know how Alien is really more of a horror movie? Aliens is more of an action movie, even though they're both action horror. I think this one leans a little bit more horror than action to me.
But I think it's a very good, fun horror.
Oh,
like
yes.
none of it like I took home with me, but in the theater, it's such a good time. I think this is one of my favorite movies of the year.
Well-
and it's not even
Wow.
genre. Horror is not even my genre.
Yeah.
It's just how it played out, and just like the whole experience was very.
The space
very
station
fun.
itself,
Oh, it was
even
so cool.
beyond the alien, man. I got more jump scares out of the space station itself. Like
Again,
if
it's
an
the
alarm went
atmosphere,
off,
right?
or the whatever the other things it was doing, I'm just like, God, it just sets you on edge because the environment itself is coming at you, and then you got to deal with face huggers and aliens too.
And by the way, I remember some people asking before the movie came out, and I wondered a little bit too. It's like, why does the cast have to be so young? When you see the movie, it narratively totally makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
It actually, you needed the characters to be young characters for it to make sense narratively. That worked. By the way, CPU also sent in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you, CPU. Appreciate
Also,
that.
shout out to one of our viewers, David. He actually was sitting right next to me.
Oh, really?
Me
Oh.
One of
introduced-
our viewers was sitting next
Yeah,
to you.
yeah. I was
Why
trying
didn't you introduce me?
I was trying to tell you, but you were talking to Ann, and and then by the time he left. But shout out to David.
Stop talking to your wife.
David-
Selfish.
David seemed to have a good time. I could see his from the corner of my eye, his feet, and he would jump scare too. So shout out to him, man. Good time.
Again, I don't want to go into any details, but there's some great callbacks.
Yeah.
Again, when there's action, it's great. There's stuff they do with the alien acid blood in this that is really creative. I'm like, ah! Like, it's just freaking you out. And
I will say there was one perished character that when they perished, I literally went like this in the theater. I was like, yes,
but every
I
movie's got to
approve.
have one of
You have
those,
to have
right?
Waco
one
approves this
person.
death.
You have to have one person who you're rooting for their death. That makes sense. Is there a post-credit scene or anything?
Oh, you know what? I didn't stick around,
Okay.
but I even loved how it did go to the credits. Even that was like tension filled.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see a sequel to this.
I also want to see a sequel to this.
So
So I was saying it doesn't have to be a direct sequel to this.
No.
But I want Fede Alvarez in this world. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I even told you, John, I was like, man, if they were ever to reshoot something like Empire Strikes Back,
Ooh.
there were scenes in this that I'm like, this is like the Vader Luke Skywalker.
It felt
scene.
very, like
Ooh.
visually, it felt very similar.
and-
Yeah,
That's
I would
cool.
love to see Fede in Star Wars.
And to reiterate,
And his cinematographer.
David Johnson, who plays Andy, the android in this film, he was so great at playing this character. It was like the breakout actor, I think, from this movie for me. His performance had a lasting effect. Like I even thought about it after, just because he was, I don't know, it was just a good performance. I thought.
And I'll say this too, going into it, there were some audiences that saw it like in Australia early. And I heard from some people saying, and in some of the early reactions saying, there's something they do in the third act that I'm not sure if it works for me or not. I instantly recognized what that thing was.
Okay.
You got to tell me after.
And you know what it is.
yeah, I said the same thing. But
Yeah.
it actually does work, but I was in the moment like, does this work?
Yeah. Like it
Oh, okay,
seems like a
okay.
weird thing at first.
Okay.
And I totally get why it didn't work for some people. But it worked for me. It worked for me. Man, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I highly recommend you check. Again, it's an experience. Are you going in and getting Shakespeare? No. Are you getting new layers of mythology to the aliens? No. Quite frankly, I think trying to add new layers to the mythology is what kind of ruined Aliens. Like when they started bringing in the engineers and all that kind of stuff, I actually think that's where Aliens started to lose its way.
When you try
it
to
lost its identity.
It's just like Predator. When you try to explain yourself, it's like, no,
Yeah.
stop explaining it.
And
Let's
also,
do this.
And also, for anyone who hasn't seen any of the old Alien movies, this is a good movie to start off with. I think you don't have to go into this.
I
really-
agree. You're going to get more out of it if you did see at least the first two Aliens movies.
Okay.
But don't prevent yourself from going to see it if
Right.
you haven't seen it. I think you can go in perfectly good and have a good time. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Gametime. My wife Ann and I love going to events, whether they're comedy shows, concerts, an LA Lakers game. I mean, just the other night we went to go see Ronnie Chang and it was awesome. We love having these new experiences and new memories. And our sponsor Gametime makes getting tickets for concerts and events faster and easier, even if you don't buy tickets right away. Because prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer you get to the show start time. With killer last minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying event tickets. I couldn't believe how easy and most importantly, intuitively, the entire app works. Finding the event I was looking for couldn't have been easier. The way it lays out the map of the venue, letting you know exactly where the seats are that you're looking for, and how easy the process was to choose and buy those tickets. So don't worry if you think you're too late to get tickets to that big event you and your friend want to go to. They have last minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever. So guys, take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code CAMPEA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CAMPEA, CAMPEA, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Anyway, guys, question is for you. How many of you guys went to go see it? I hear it's tracking for over $40 million opening weekend. For those of you who saw it, what did you think about it? Did you enjoy it? Did it let you down? Are you excited for a sequel? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.